Power is not just about strength, it is about influence. True power is not found in the hands of those who demand it, but in those who shape the very reality that others live in. Some rule with brute force, some rule with deception, but the ones who rule forever are the ones who understand both. That is why no duo in history, not the Jedi, not the Sith, not the Republic, nor the Rebellion, has ever commanded the galaxy the way Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine did. They did not just seize control, they made it so no one could imagine a world without them. What makes a great partnership is not just trust, it is necessity. It is when two forces exist in such perfect balance that neither can function without the other. Vader was destruction, Palpatine was control. One crushed enemies with sheer force, the other orchestrated their downfall before they even knew they were doomed. Together, they did not just command fear, they turned it into an empire. A structure so immovable that even those who hated them could do nothing but submit to it. But their rule was not built on chaos, it was built on precision. Every battle, every political move, every death was calculated. This was not a reign of desperation, it was a reign of inevitability. Palpatine did not just react to threats, he eliminated them before they could take form. Vader did not just enforce his master's will, he made sure no one ever questioned it. They were not simply powerful, they were unstoppable, until they weren't. Because that is the cruel truth about power, it never lasts forever. No matter how tightly you grip control, no matter how deeply you carve your name into history, the galaxy will always push back. No one can rule without resistance, and no darkness lasts without something rising to meet it. But what makes Vader and Palpatine different is that even in their defeat, their shadow never left the galaxy. Their influence stretched beyond their deaths, shaping events long after their empire had fallen. In this video, we are going to break down why Vader and Palpatine were the greatest duo the galaxy has ever known. From their ruthless efficiency to their iron grip on the galaxy. From their carefully orchestrated dominance to the fate that ultimately unraveled them. We are going to explore why they worked so well together, what made their rule so terrifyingly effective, and why, even in death, they remain the greatest force the galaxy has ever known. Darth Vader and Palpatine did not just rule the galaxy. They controlled it with a precision that no other duo could match. The way Palpatine wielded his influence like a blade and Vader carried out his will with relentless force made them an unstoppable pair. Other Sith Lords crumbled under their own ambitions, but these two thrived in the darkness, feeding off each other's strengths while hiding each other's weaknesses. It was a terrifying balance, but one that ensured their dominance. Palpatine was not just a leader, he was a strategist beyond comprehension. He saw every move before it happened, placing pieces on the board long before his enemies even knew they were playing. But power means nothing if it is not enforced, and that is where Vader came in. He was not just Palpatine's enforcer, he was his will made flesh, his iron grip on a galaxy that had no choice but to submit. There was a cruelty in how they operated, but it was never reckless. Palpatine did not waste resources on petty revenge, and Vader did not kill without purpose. Every decision was precise, every death was a tool to solidify their rule. It was a terrifying efficiency that made them untouchable, because every attempt to overthrow them played right into their hands. The Jedi never stood a chance against that level of control. They believed in hope, but hope is fragile, hope is unpredictable, and hope does not stop the crushing weight of reality. Palpatine understood that, and Vader was the one who enforced it. Together, they didn't just win, they made sure there was no one left to challenge them. The best way to rule is not with love, it is with fear. Love can fade, love can be betrayed, but fear lingers in the mind, carving itself into the soul of those who feel it. Palpatine knew that fear was the strongest force in the galaxy, and Vader was the one who delivered it. Every step he took, every breath through that mechanical mask, it was a reminder that defiance would not be tolerated. The Empire was built on that fear, and no one understood it better than Vader himself. He was not just a warrior, he was a symbol, a living nightmare that kept the galaxy in line. People whispered his name in the dark, terrified that he might be listening. The rebels did not just fight against the Empire, they fought against the knowledge that Vader could appear at any moment and crush their entire resistance in an instant. But fear alone is not enough, it has to be balanced with loyalty, and that is where Palpatine mastered the game. He did not just inspire terror, he made sure that those who followed him believed that he was their only path to survival. Vader knew that as well, because he had lived it. He had been broken down and rebuilt into something that could never question the hand that created him. The strength of Palpatine and Vader was undeniable. One was the most powerful Sith in history, the other was the greatest warrior the galaxy had ever seen. But what made them even more terrifying was how they masked their weaknesses. No one is invincible, but true power comes from knowing how to make others believe that you are. Palpatine had no physical strength, no ability to stand against a warrior in open combat. But he never needed it. His power came from the mind, from twisting reality, until his enemies did not even realize they had already lost. He made people destroy themselves, convincing them that their own actions were their downfall. He turned the Jedi against themselves. He made the Senate give him power willingly. And he orchestrated a war where he controlled both sides. Vader was the opposite. His weakness was not in the mind, it was in the heart. He was not born as a Sith, he was made into one, forged through pain and loss. Palpatine knew that, and used it against him, keeping him trapped in a cycle of anger and regret. But despite that, Vader never faltered in his duty. He buried his past so deeply that even he could not reach it. His pain became his fuel, his suffering became his strength. It was a dangerous game, but one they played masterfully. They hid their weaknesses so well that even those closest to them could not see the cracks. And by the time anyone figured it out, it was already too late. Power is not just about strength, it is about control. Palpatine and Vader did not rule through force alone, they ruled through the illusion that resistance was impossible. The galaxy was not just held by the Empire's armies, it was held by the belief that nothing could change. Hope was not just crushed, it was erased before it could even take form. Palpatine was the master of control, the one who could bend any situation to his will. He did not react to chaos, he created it. He made people believe they had choices while ensuring that every path led exactly where he wanted. The Clone Wars, the fall of the Jedi, the rise of the Empire, all of it was orchestrated with such perfection that it seemed inevitable. Vader, however, was chaos itself. He was destruction incarnate, a force that could not be reasoned with. But he was not reckless. Every act of violence served a purpose. Every display of power was designed to reinforce the fear that kept the Empire intact. He was not a mindless killer, he was a tool sharpened to perfection, unleashed only when necessary. Together, they created a balance that made them unstoppable. One controlled the game, the other destroyed anything that threatened it. Okay? They did not just rule through fear, they ruled through the complete absence of hope. And once hope is gone, nothing remains. No empire lasts forever, no rule is absolute. Even the strongest foundation can be shaken, and when it does, the cracks begin to spread. Palpatine believed himself to be untouchable, but no one is beyond fate. The very thing that made Vader his greatest weapon also made him his greatest threat. Betrayal is not always sudden, sometimes it is slow, creeping in like a shadow that no one notices until it is too late. Palpatine thought he had Vader under his complete control, but even he failed to understand the depths of human nature. No matter how much you break a man, no matter how much you twist him into something else, there will always be something left behind, something waiting for the right moment to surface. Vader was bound by his past, but the past never truly disappears. Palpatine could control his rage, his fear, his pain, but he could not erase what had already been lost. And in the end, that was his downfall. He believed that power alone was enough, but power is nothing if it cannot be controlled. It is ironic that the very thing Palpatine relied on for his rule was the thing that ended him. Vader was his creation, his greatest weapon, but even the most loyal soldier can turn when given the right reason. And when that moment came, it was not power that decided the future, it was choice. Palpatine and Vader were not just rulers, they were legends. They reshaped the galaxy, carving their names into history with an iron grip that seemed unbreakable. Their rule was not just about dominance, it was about proving that strength and control were the only things that mattered. And for a time, they succeeded. But power is never permanent. No matter how strong you are, no matter how much fear you command, there will always be something waiting in the shadows. The Sith believed that strength was eternal, but history proves otherwise. Every empire falls, every tyrant meets their end, and every legend fades into nothing. Yet even in defeat, their influence remained. The scars they left on the galaxy never truly healed. The echoes of their rule shaped the future, long after they were gone. Their power may have died, but their legacy never did. And perhaps that is the true nature of darkness. It never disappears, it simply waits.